Your potential guests expect instant response and seamless communication, making an eye not just a luxury, but a necessity. Hi everyone, my name is Paula. I'm a senior PR and partner marketing specialist at Cloudbes, and I'm here today with Pormer Sarram, co-founder and CEO of Visito, to talk about AI-powered messaging tools for hotels. So thank you so much for being here with us today, Pormer.
Thank you so much, Paula. Great to be here.
For those who aren't familiar with Visito yet, can you sum it up for us, please?
Absolutely. Visito is an AI-powered platform for hospitality. What we do is we help hotels, rental properties, and hospitality businesses automate a lot of the incoming messages and questions from guests across all the popular messaging channels.
That's cool. So let's get this started. What is the direct booking challenge in the modern hospitality sector?
More properties want to go direct. They want to be able to have their guests book directly. And over time, there's been more technologies that have come out to allow for that, right? So you have much better booking engine, much better web experience for guests. But it turns out a lot of the guests are still, trying different ways to book directly. Messaging is part of that, but ultimately, customers and properties want to be able to have more direct bookings.
Yeah, and I'm guessing to get more direct booking, the first thing is to be able to connect or to contact the hotel. So, Pormer, how is the AI-powered messaging transforming guest interactions?
I would actually, before even going into the AI-powered part, I would just talk about the messaging part, which is very interesting. So if you think about also what's happened over the past 7 to 10 years, more and more consumers, more and more travelers are used to engaging with properties, but broadly speaking with businesses over messaging, whether that's on WhatsApp, whether it's on Instagram or just SMS or different platforms. It's become a pretty common way for consumers to get information out of business. When you think about hospitality and we think about guests specifically, that's also the case, right? Guests want to be able to message properties, ask questions. Now, the AI power piece comes in to be able to automate a lot of these questions, right? In 80%, 90% of the cases, the questions are more or less the same. And the challenge that hotels and properties have is that they have to respond to all these questions. They have to have a team that needs to respond to these questions 24/7 in different language, and they just can't do that. So that's where the AI powered piece comes in to really help with guest engagement.
Yeah. Funny that you said about consumers communicate more through messaging, and I really hate to call someone. Good to call a company. I think it's like, oh my God, why? I think phones still have their importance in a way, but it's nothing compared to many years ago. And I think hotels should adapt and have more channels to communicate directly with consumers. Otherwise, I think it's a bit hard to get more direct bookings, right? I mean, especially like you're saying, if you want something that sometimes you just want an information that either you can find on the website or you don't have the time. You just want to get it right away. And I think messaging, it's very, really powerful. I don't know if from your experience, Pormer, in the world or in the other countries, in Brazil, I'm going to talk about Brazil. We love messaging for business. We really, really do. So hotels here have to have at least WhatsApp, to say the least. I'm not sure if you see like a channel or it's a website or WhatsApp. In your experience, do you have any channel that it's more popular that you know?
Yeah, I would say WhatsApp is really popular there. We have customers in Brazil as well, and WhatsApp is just a very popular channel. I would say globally, WhatsApp is obviously very, very popular, partly because it allows for guests from different countries to communicate with that property. Yeah. And I would say the other thing is that you're spot on. You sometimes want to just ask a simple question. You want to get that resolved, and you may not necessarily want to book over WhatsApp or use that as a booking channel. You still want to go back to the website, but it's important to have that channel open with guests and with customers to be able to answer those questions. fairly easily.
Yeah. And sometimes if they don't answer you, actually you go to another hotel. I mean, because it's so easy today, to have multiple choices. Oh, this one didn't answer me. Next, we say next. So what strategies should modern hoteliers focus on when implementing AI power messaging?
Yeah, I would say the first thing is actually having as many channels as possible to communicate with customers, and that depends on the country, that depends on the type of property. But if one particular messaging channel is more popular among the guests of that property, they should probably look into at least using that channel. Now, I think the next step is considering automating some of the responses, and there are different layers and levels of automation, right? Not everything has to be automated. Not every workflow and kind of every type of question needs to be or has to be automated. And the question is, you're starting from 0%, how far can you go? We have some properties that automates up to 97, 98% of messages. We have some that prefer a lower automation percentage. And I think ultimately depends on the personality of the property, right? And the type of experience that the property wants to provide to the guests. But I would say if the questions are fairly simple, and the guests just can't find that somewhere else, or they want to ask that question, it's just good practice for the properties to be able to respond to that. And as you mentioned, the automation is kind of one aspect. I would say the other aspect is that you want to be able to respond to questions quickly, right? And essentially be able to respond to that guest while they have that question. Because if you don't, they can ultimately go somewhere else and find another property and book, right? So it's fairly competitive in that sense, and it's important for properties to be able to respond pretty quickly to questions.
Nice. Right. So this is our final question. So our audience always love some tips and tricks. So my last question for you is if you can share 3 best practice for implementation of AI powered messaging.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the most important thing is, and depending on whichever solution is used, the most important thing is the type of data that's used to actually power the AI systems, right? Ultimately, the responses are only as good as the types of inputs and context that's provided. So we often see the customers and the properties that have the most success with AI-powered messaging, in the case of Visito, have really robust data sources. They're actually able to upload quite a bit of information about their property, their policies, kind of what they're hoping to get. So I would say that's the first step, which is actually having all this information ready. The second thing is to actually meet the customer where they are. So if they prefer to use a web chat, or if they prefer to be messaging on Instagram, it's just good practice for the properties to be able to use those channels, but also be able to potentially automate those channels. And I would say the third best practice or tip is really that it doesn't have to be if properties want to get started with AI, they can actually get started pretty slowly, right? They don't have to start with everything at once. They don't have to start with all channels, and they don't have to start with all guests. What they can actually do is just start with one channel, maybe with a portion of their guests. They can start with one kind of technology and then expand from there. Because I think there's always this fear that, well, maybe the responses are inaccurate, or maybe my guests wouldn't like the experience. And I think it's always best to try, have a small experiment, and then expand from there based on results.
Oh, that's very nice. It's awesome. So thank you so much, Pormer, for being here and talking to us today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Well, and thanks everybody who watched this video. If you want to know more about Visito, you can find them on our website at Cloudbes Marketplace. So just go visit there. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.